Good morning, everybody. Julian, I hear you
Morning.
had a hell of a weekend. Tell us what's going on.
Saturday, I showed property for one of our agents, and Sunday I held open house and got two listing appointments with buyers that have houses to sell. So anyway, very friendly people. They didn't have agents, just starting the process and seemed to be very eager. And both of them liked that particular home I was showing in the 800,000.
So you heard a listing from a colleague, 800,000 or so, and you had two families come in that would be sellers and buyers.
Right. Now, I really
Neither of them
got
have an.
four buyer prospects to work with, so that's good. One from California, their sister's moving here and wants to buy a property. Another lady that wants 600 and 900,000 in Alpharetta area, and then these two that I've actually got appointments with.
Wow, so you've got four potential buyers in the $800,000 neighborhood, and
Two
two
sellers.
could be sellers as well.
Right.
So that could be that could be almost $5 million worth of transactions.
Right, and it doesn't happen that way all the time. I
Oh,
mean, you know.
believe me, I've been in business 15 plus years. That's not happened to me once before, but what a day.
Yeah, it was a great day. Enjoyed it. It went very quickly, all for 2 hours.
Boy, that's a pretty good return on your investment for a handful of balloons, huh?
Yes.
Beautiful. Who else wants to share some good news from the weekend? Anybody do anything cool business-wise? Anyone do anything cool personal-wise that they want to share?
Liz and I helped Carrie deal with her open house on Sunday.
Awesome.
And it was very busy. Tons of people came through. Each of us got two buyer leads. So working on contacting them.
That's awesome.
So thanks.
How did you guys sort it out with three people there? Who did what?
Both Carrie was kind of in the background, and Liz and I just took turns. We would alternate people that came in the door, and we just kind of shared the potentials that came through.
I love that. I love that. Who else hosted an open house on Sunday? Ebony, you did, right?
Yeah, I hosted an open house for Alicia. It went good. I had a couple people come in.
Okay.
Hopefully one of them buys, but it was the first open house that I hosted on my own. So if for anything, I got the experience. I got to meet the homeowners as well. It was just a pleasurable experience. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Kind of makes you want to do it again, huh?
Absolutely. I am up for the challenge.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Who else wants to share? Anybody? Jan, you were like the first person to update your numbers. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. I want to go over a couple of housekeeping things real fast, and then we'll move right into our topic. So today we're going to be doing our Sharpen Your Skills hour from 2 to 3. We're going to focus on scripts. Okay. We're going to talk about language patterns. We're going to talk about the actual scripts that you can use. We're going to talk about asking questions. We're going to talk about basically setting proper expectations and making sure that using the language and the tone and the speed, mirroring, matching, all these things to build rapport and to control the conversation. Okay, not overwhelm the conversation, just control where it goes and how fast it goes there. Okay. Let's see, Thursday, I just put something new on the calendar just to kind of see whether it was popular or not, basically. I just had an idea to have like kind of open office hours where it was like you have a question, you pop in. All of you guys know you can ask questions in our forum anyway, and you can reach out to me directly if you have a a need that pops up. But I'm looking to obviously continue to make this program a perfect match for all of you guys. So that's going to be between 11 and 12 o'clock on Thursday. If you have something you want to share, you don't have to wait till Thursday to share it. But please feel free to give me your feedback, positive and negative, so we can continue to tailor this program to you as your business is growing, okay? And I have had to postpone or not postpone, but reschedule with Jay. And so stay tuned for our our session from 12 to 1 on Friday. I'll give you the name of the person probably by the end of the day. Okay. All right. Any questions on that? Okay, let's talk about Bold for 2 seconds. I am almost caught up with Bold, and I'm just in the middle of watching the listing presentation, Coach's Corner right now, but I know many of you guys are in Bold. Who wants to share something they've learned in Bold that they've implemented in their business right away? Anybody? No one wants to share, huh? Y'all are in Bold, right? A handful of you. Heather, tell me something. Ebony, tell me something. Ashley, you're in Bold too, right?
Yes.
Tell me something.
I mean, it's going, the day that I haven't really done, the 40 contacts every day, but that day that we did the Bold 100, I ended up talking to 25 people.
Nice.
Which is a lot for me. That's probably the most I've talked to in a day. And I am.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I did circle prospecting in my farm neighborhood, which is the neighborhood I grew up in, and it actually went really well. The ones that answered the phone, a lot of them I had known when I lived there as a kid growing up, and so they wanted to talk a lot, but it was good. One of the ladies, she was just interested in some of the houses that had sold, and she was telling me all about the real estate in the neighborhood and what was going on and everything. And so it went really well. And I'm going to follow up with personal notes to all those people I spoke with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
beautiful. Good. That by the way, sometimes you can identify the kind of mayor of the neighborhood, if you will.
Yes.
Right. The mayor of the neighborhood is oftentimes the one that's out walking the dog, or the one that knows everyone's business, or
yes.
Is just very talkative, right?
Yes.
So that particular person most likely would go out of their way to help you build your business if you go out of your way to help them get whatever they happen to want that day.
Yeah. In fact, actually, she kept mentioning one house that had sold, and she swears it was just a couple months ago. And I went back into FMLS a year, maybe even 2 years, and I didn't see it in there. Do some agents list in like just Georgia MLS, or?
Yeah, some do. Some do. Yes. So I would check Georgia MLS. You could also check the tax records and see when the deed changed hands.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, and some do FSBO.
Well, she said it wasn't a FSBO, because I asked her that. I was like, was it for sale by owner? And she said, no, it was with an agent.
Could have been a bunch of different things. I would first go to the tax records and see when the deed changed hands.
Okay,
and then when you circle back with her to let her know that, you've looked into whatever she was asking about, give her all the information, and then you can, you can let her know, hey, didn't see it on the FMLS, but I really dug around to get the details for you.
Right. Good idea.
It's kind of this idea that sometimes people don't know how hard you're working unless you let them know. Right. If you take the listing and then you swing by at the inspection, and the next time you see the sellers at the closing table and you're walking away with 15 grand, they're like, oh my gosh, this person's overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yet they didn't see the 20, 30, 50 hours that you spent behind the scenes making sure nothing collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
So every once in a while, you have to remind the seller or a buyer what you're up to on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about a class that we had last week that I am a little over halfway through watching, that I think is really good. Who watched Michelle Slater's FSBO class? Julian, tell me something you learned.
Well, I learned it takes an hour for Michelle to get ready in the morning between 9 and 10 o'clock.
Okay, I saw that part. Yeah. Tell me something else.
And then she calls 2 FSBOs at 10:30.
Yep.
Because she's more comfortable talking after, everybody else calls earlier. And she was just real natural and really straightforward. So, she's a good teacher.
You know what I love, what I've noticed the most, and I've seen, I've been fortunate enough to see Michelle's transition, right? I was the TL when she moved from Sandy Springs to Roswell. I knew her before she had a sale, right? I've seen her evolve, and her transition has been quite impressive, right? One of the things that I really admired about her, and it was very much highlighted in the class, was just how she treats her business like a business, right? So she shows up to work every day. Real estate's not just like this thing that she does periodically in between other things that she's committed to. Real estate is, it's very obvious that she's a real estate agent. Does that make sense? I think
I was with her last year in 2019 in Bob Kalinsky's class about how to run your business like a business. So she was focused on it at that point as well.
Absolutely.
And I'll just say she is one busy woman too, with the band she's in,
Yeah.
the volunteer work she does, 3 kids,
She also does a lot of like, what do you call it? Like is it house restoration work? Like she'll take like a 120-year-old house and she's involved in, helping not remodel, but restore the house. Like she's very,
for historic homes, I think.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
she also owns a clothing business on top of her real estate business.
That's right. And did y'all catch the fact that she just got back from vacation? So it's not just about slinging homes, right? It's about taking time for the things that are important to you.
She's very comfortable in her skin.
Yes.
And she then allows the people that she talks to be comfortable with her.
Yes.
She described herself as a professional student for 2.5 years here at KW. So I was really, to open up like that, I thought I was very impressed with that she was just so honest.
Yeah, she went from basically no sale to capping in like a week, right? She planted a lot of seeds and then they finally started to bloom, right? I just want to touch on that idea. This has got to do with mindset too, is sometimes people get into real estate because they don't want a job, right? They don't want a boss. And one of the drawbacks, I think, is sometimes they don't even want to be their own boss. And the question or the idea is that doesn't really serve them. The more you can think about this as your business and your career, the more that you're going to take the time and earmark that time to learn, to be a professional student, right? To get out there and stumble and grow and learn. So Michelle made a comment about how every single time she goes to Boulder, every single time she takes a class, she learns something that she didn't know before, right? I think when she is so comfortable in her skin, like Heather, you're saying, it causes other people to be comfortable in their skin, right? And then because Michelle is willing to be vulnerable, she gets more personal with people quicker. Did y'all kind of get that feeling as well? I also love the fact that she goes towards the higher end of the for sale by owners, right? Purposefully. I haven't called that many FSBOs in my life, I'll be honest, but I didn't go to the top of the price. I went to the bottom of the price. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a certain type of confidence that is very impressive.
Don't expect a call from Michelle unless your home is at 485,000 or above.
Yeah, exactly.
Which frees up a lot of smaller homes for the rest of us.
Well, you can go compete with Michelle, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that makes sense from a certain standpoint, because when you have someone that has a home in that price range, they're obviously doing other things, and they might have, they need to commit time to their job, and it's more likely that they're professional on some level, unless they've just inherited it. So you're dealing with people who might be doing it to try to save money, but not from a place of needing to save money.
That's a really good, I like that idea, Heather. I'm going to even piggyback more on that, is once you get up into that price range, and I am generalizing here, but if you own a $500,000 house, generally speaking, you have some form of job that you have some type of supervisory role, right? You have reports, you know, you're used to kind of having an idea and then assigning that task to somebody. Does that make sense? So real estate is going to be no different, right? Or any project that a person like that encounters, one of the first things that they think of is, I need a talented person to get rid of this problem for me, right? And then they go out into the marketplace and they look for a talented person to get rid of the problem, right? So with those types of people, sometimes you just need to let them know that, hey, all the stress, all the worries, all the headache, all the prep, all that, I got it, right? We're going to minimize the stress here because you're focused on other stuff. Now, I do think that's an important language to share with people of all price ranges. But understand, the higher the price range, the more likely the person is used to just basically handing over the problem to somebody else.
Well, I also think that if it's a FSBO in the lower price point, they might feel like they genuinely have no money to lose. So they're not trying to save money. They're all the time. They might be in a place where they're like, okay, this is the budget, this is what's going on. And if somebody else gets this percent, and so it's a different mindset. It's scarcity versus abundance.
I like that thought too. Very good. Very good.
And that's true. I'm working with a lady today on a listing appointment, and she is real tight with the money, and it's been really difficult to get off the paying the other 3%, but just simply because she believes there's no other place to get the money. So anyway, it's true. But I work with a lot of $800,000, $900,000, $1 million FSBOs, and they have a really tough mindset. They are know-it-alls.
Well, here's the thing is currently the home is available, which is another way of saying they haven't been successful yet.
How many offers did you get today? Right.
Right. How many offers did you receive over the weekend? None. Oh, okay. So
have you enjoyed the last year on the market?
Right. Well, you really have to go back to the motivation, right? Selling a home's a lot of work. What's got that on your mind? Right. What's important to you about selling the home? You deserve that, don't you? I also love how she purposefully doesn't use the word I, right? It's about them. Remember, this also ties into mindset. This idea of when you pick up the phone, I think they said this on Coach's Corner the other day. If you look at the phone as on the other end of this is going to be a bunch of people that are going to turn me down and reject me and be nasty, then the phone weighs 1,000 pounds. If you look at the phone and say, oh my gosh, there's money springing out of this thing, all I got to do is pick it up and go find somebody who needs my help. Well, that's a whole different mindset, right? One is, how is the world going to react to me? That's focused on me. What you should say is, I as a professional spend time studying what to say. I study the market. I know how to negotiate. I got a network of people that can help me, whether it be colleagues or other vendor partners and these kind of things. And today I will find somebody who needs my help and who will be grateful to get it. Does that make sense? And yes, along the way, there probably will be some nasty people, but I don't get bogged down in that. I'm here to serve the public. I just need to find somebody who needs to be served. Follow that? So talk to me, when you hear the word mindset, what comes to mind? Is it confidence? Is it skill development? Walk me through what you're thinking. Is it affirmations?
I think. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Hey, Bill, this is Tawantis. I was just going to say, I think it's a combination of those things.
Okay.
I think it's a combination of mindset of confidence. I think it's like your willpower and ability to overcome challenges
Yep.
that happen on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's also just your ability to stay focused on a day-to-day basis. Just from my perspective, I think that's what it is.
Great. So how have you used, how do you intentionally improve your mindset?
Well,
When you're having a tough day, how do you regain focus?
Well, honestly, for me, I pull a couple of things. The first thing I do, I'm an avid workout person. That's the first thing. But I meditate, and I think that does a lot for me mentally. By literally taking out a time when I feel kind of overwhelmed or anxious about something, I literally will take a second and really go and practice, like taking 5 to 10 minutes to just refocus myself so I can calm down and think on a different perspective versus how I'm feeling. I really do that. And I think it's working for me a lot.
Good.
It's very challenging with my kids, especially being at home, FYI.
Hey, I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys take a look at my 411, you've seen that I've been wanting to create a meditation plan for about 6 months. So if you're thinking about that, you just call me, okay? That, by the way, that's why we share our 411s, right?
Yeah.
Is because if I see that, I don't know, let's say I want to do a wholesale flip, right? I happened to be talking to one of the agents in the office the other day, and she was talking a lot about wholesale flips. So I said, hey, you bring me a deal that makes sense for you and makes sense for me, I'm going to do it, right? So I tell people what I want. You guys tell people what you want, and it'll be more likely to come into your world. Does that make sense? So walk me through examples or practices that you've done to intentionally improve your mindset, to increase your positive thinking. Who else wants to share?
One of the things I like, Bill, and I think it really came from you, was just saying, "Hey, I can help somebody today." So you're coming from a helpful nature, and it just feels it's easier to talk with people when it's just empathizing with them and just trying to help, just listening.
That's right. That is our job. That's what we get paid to do, right? You're never going to get a paycheck unless you help somebody. Make sense? Who else wants to share?
Sure. I know I watched her class, and I know she had talked about how it was like, I think she said 2.5 years before she had her first sale, and how, like, you know, you guys are saying she's just basically a student for 2 years, just learning everything she could. And I think what resonated with me from her story, I only got to watch part of the class because I had to leave, but I started Ignite this week, today, and for like the past month, I've just been watching as many videos on like all the different YouTube accounts, your videos, every video I can see to try to learn. And I think I had this mindset of, I need to know everything before I can start anything. And I'm never going to know anything. So I have to accept the fact that I'm never going to know everything. I'm never going to feel like I'm 100% prepared. And I was out at an appointment last week, and they asked me questions, and I did say, I don't know, but I can, you know, find out for you. And it didn't kill me. I didn't die having to tell them I didn't know. So.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's exactly right. So guys, there's just too many videos and too much content out there. You're never going to get it all, right? And the lesson of Michelle being in the business for 2.5 years prior to having a sale is not go learn for 2.5 years before you have a sale. The lesson is, wow, number one is that's a very super high degree of dedication and patience, right? And a belief in herself to continue to keep going, right? One thing that I've seen her evolve over time is that she is a businesswoman. There is no, like, you'd spend 30 seconds with her and you're like, oh, you're a businesswoman. You see what I'm saying? She is structured. She is time blocked. She has a routine. She believes in herself. She spends time every day getting smarter, right? She's hired a coach, right? So she is serious about her development so that she can go in and contribute more to the public. Make sense?
I heard kind of an underlying tone, and I might have been reading into it incorrectly,
Okay.
but I felt like when she said she was a professional student, that wasn't meant to be something she was necessarily proud of, because I think she is learning based, and that she's happy about, and she continues talking about books and what have you read and what are you doing. But I think when she's a professional student, I think she's like, I can't believe I did that, because you could be learning based and doing stuff at the same time, and it took me 2.5 years to stop just being a student.
Yeah, I think right now she's just sharing her story.
Yeah.
Right, we're all creating our story right now. You know, somebody's going to come out of the gate and have a lot of sales and be like, oh, that was my story. Everyone's got a different story, right? Some people got a slow start, and that helps develop the person they become. One thing I've actually seen, unfortunately, a lot, is sometimes the people that come into this business and they get deals like almost immediately, or they have a deal like right out of the gate. Sometimes they don't develop the foundational pieces they need, and they think they got it all figured out, and then their pipeline dries up. Right. So I applaud you guys for being here and spending time every single day becoming smarter and smarter and more well organized. I also love the fact that she talked about the big why, right? Why are we doing this? Look, we know en route to getting everything that we want, we're going to meet some nasty people. We're going to meet some people that disappoint us. We're going to meet some people that don't appreciate the fact that we're trying to make a contribution in their life. And you know what? It is what it is. And we have to be able to shake it off and say, you know, I love how she said it. Thank you for showing me your true self now rather than 6 weeks into the deal, right? Because people don't deserve the relationship. Make sense?
I think someone told her that, or she thought she didn't have the money to put her 3 children through college, and then she's determined to do that, and now she's busy doing that. So that was her big why, it sounded like.
Yeah, I think you're right. That sometimes we need somebody to not believe in us to force us to believe in ourselves, right? When I got allegedly fired from my last job, which was waiting tables 15 years ago, I said, I am never waiting another table. I don't care what I have to do. I am not waiting another table, right? And I went to my little 1-bed, 1-bath, least expensive home in the entire MLS back in 2006. And I sat on my toilet and I stole the neighbor's internet while I figured out how to be a real estate agent, right? But I was not waiting another table. So that's the way it had to be. You see what I'm saying? And so every day I got smarter and I got more confident and I knew better what to say every single day. And there was no one that was going to stop me from building my real estate business. You see what I'm saying? Don't ask me how I found out that sitting on the toilet was the only place to actually steal my neighbor's internet. We'll talk about that later.
TMI.
What's that? Hey,
Yeah, now we can't get that visual image out of our minds.
TMI, Bill.
I'm just sharing my story, you know? We've all got a story. All right. Listen, I want to spend some time with you guys today from 2 to 3 talking about scripts. Again, that's building the mindset. That's building the confidence. Okay. So today from 2 to 3, we'll talk about scripts. Tuesday is negotiation. Wednesday is role play. Thursday is time management. Friday, we'll spend some more time talking about wealth building. And don't forget, we're going to be reporting our numbers in the month of August, back to what we were 2 months ago, I think, reporting on Sunday night. So if you have not done that, please catch up. And don't forget, some of the people that have already reported their numbers are really, really strong. So great work. If you were in bold, don't forget your commitment is 40 contacts a day. So if you need any help in making sure that happens, let me know. Don't be afraid to reach out to people that you used to work with or went to school with, or your kids' parents, you know, whatever it may be. Let's have some conversations and check in with people. There's a lot of people that are really scared right now out there. They're worried about their jobs. They're worried about their health. They're worried about their mortgage. They're worried about the election. They're worried about whatever. Let's love on as many people as we possibly can. Don't forget our big goal of 1,800 people that we're going to add to our database in the month of August. Okay. So that is roughly 60 per person throughout the month. Okay. So help your buddies out, and be very, very careful about the language of disappointment. Okay, we talked a little bit about that. I forget which class it was last week, the language of disappointment, right? Getting yourself really focused on, you know, somebody that was rude, or somebody that hung up on you, or somebody that, you know, didn't want to use you or something like that. Let's focus on who we can help today. Who can we help today? Okay. And then you go and surprise and delight them, add them to your database, and you keep pouring into them, and the results will come. Okay. So when you're on the phone with these people, remember, it's not about you, it's about them. That's a very specific mindset, and it's not easy to process. You're gonna have to think about that for a second. You are making the phone call for them, not for you. Okay. All right, everyone, be good. I'll see you at 2 o'clock.
Thanks. Bye.
Mm-hmm.